In the previous speed test, the OnePlus Nord defeated the Mi 10i comfortably, and a lot of you commented asking me to switch the Nord with the Samsung Galaxy M51, given that the M51 is priced much closer to the Mi 10i. Fair enough, let's do it. This time the Mi 10i looks stronger on paper, with its Snapdragon 750G going against the M51's Snapdragon 730G. Also UFS 2.2 versus UFS 2.1. And since this is a Technology Jock style speed test, as usual we compare almost everything from app opening times, RAM management, to the internet speed test and even video rendering. There's just one more thing before we get started. Subscribe and hit the bell icon. Before we begin, a huge shout out to our sponsor Capes India. Capes makes these wonderful skins for a lot of devices including smartphones, cameras, laptops and so on. They don't add any noticeable bulk or weight to the phone, but still do a great job protecting it from scratches and dents. Recently they introduced these Thunderstorm and Carbon Fiber Red skins which look absolutely fantastic. And the best part is, the price is the same as their other skins. So definitely check out Capes India, link in the description. Use the coupon code TJOCK to get 10% discount. Now on to the speed test. Note that we are gonna be doing this speed test with default settings. As you can see on the M51, the default is optimized. The power saving modes are disabled. And on the Mi 10i, both the battery savers are disabled. When it comes to individual apps, there is some sort of optimization enabled on both phones. On the Mi 10i, it's called the battery saver, and on the M51, it's called adaptive battery. Most of the users, probably 95% of us, will not change any of these while using the phones. That's the reason I'm sticking to these settings. However, if the apps behave weirdly, we will change these settings to no restrictions and redo the speed test to see if that makes a difference. Also do note that both phones have the same list of installed apps, they are connected to the same Wi-Fi, and there are no apps running in the background. So let's first check the app opening times. Twitter, the M51 was a bit faster. Let's check the scrolling performance. Many Samsung phones I've tested previously have stuttered in these scenarios, but thankfully no issues here on the M51. Both phones are equally smooth. Smooth as in free of lag. Of course, the scrolling feels a little smoother on the Mi 10i because of the 120Hz refresh rate display compared to the M51's mere 60Hz display. Instagram also loaded slightly faster on the M51. And the scrolling is perfectly fine on both. Telegram, it's the M51 again, but that's a very slim difference. By the way, do join our Telegram channel for some interesting things like behind the scenes, mini giveaways, etc. Link in the description. Google Maps, cannot really comment much because they opened different locations. Let's search for something. Afghanistan. Well, here the M51 was quicker. Let's keep this open so that we can check later if it stays on the same page. Next up, Swiggy. Not much difference, almost equally fast. Again, let's open something. Later we'll check if the app reopens to the same page. Google Drive, again they opened up at the same time. Let's open a file and come out. Spotify, the M51 was considerably faster in loading it. Moving on to Prime Video now, negligible difference, but it was the M51. Mi 10i's performance has been subpar. Let's now move on to the third row, some heavy games. Can Mi 10i do something and gain some advantage here? Let's see. Starting with Genshin Impact, one of the largest games available on the Play Store, almost 10 GB, and the M51 opens it first. The Mi 10i takes almost 4 seconds longer. Temple Run, again it's the M51. Next up, Subway Surfers. Can the Mi 10i strike back? Nope, it's getting worse. Let's start a game and leave. We'll come back later and see if we can resume the game from where we left. Next up, Call of Duty Mobile. Not a significant difference this time, and the same can be expected while opening the final 4 apps. Well, even phone and messages have loaded slightly faster by the M51. It's just very snappy. Google Chrome. The Mi 10i takes much longer to load the page. If you happen to visit this page, just hit the subscribe button. I mean, you can also do it right now. The subscribe button is right under this video. Anyway, the camera app opens faster on the Mi 10i and manages to click a picture first. But barring this, the Galaxy M51 has been dominant throughout the app opening round. Now, it's time to see how the background app management, or more commonly known as RAM management, is. Remember, we opened a location on Google Maps. We also started a game of Subway Surfers, etc, etc. Let's see if they continue from there or they all reload from scratch. Usually there are no issues with the bottom row of apps, Chrome, messages and phone. That's the case here as well. Let's get to the interesting part, games. Call of Duty Mobile, the Mi 10i reloads it, just like we saw in the previous speed test. Subway Surfers again reloads on the Mi 10i. The M51 can just resume the game. Temple Run, same result. Genshin Impact, again same. Now, the Mi 10i doesn't reload Prime Video. As you can see, it shows the same page that we opened a minute ago, but it took a bit of time to display this. The same thing happens with Spotify and the rest of the apps as well. As you can see, it looks like Google Drive is loading. You can see the logo and all that, but it ends up showing the image that we opened in the previous round. So, fast forwarding now, Swiggy, Google Maps, Telegram, Instagram, Twitter. Exact same thing happens. It kind of feels like I'm redoing the OnePlus Nord versus Mi 10i speed test because the results are also quite similar here. So yeah, the M51 takes this round as well quite comfortably. Now, like I said, the same thing happened in the previous speed test, and we went to settings and disabled the app battery saver for all the apps on the Mi 10i. As in, we set them to no restrictions. And we did the whole test again on the Mi 10i to see whether the apps reloaded or not. And sadly, the results were no different. All the 4 games reloaded from the start, and the rest of the apps behaved the exact same way they behaved in the previous round. Now, an important thing. I saw a few comments in the previous video stating that they saw a speed test on another channel, and in that video the Mi 10i did not reload anything, as in it performed just like the M51. So, 2 things. Number 1, my unit might be defective or something. It's unlikely though, because everything else works fine. I've been using it for the past few days. Number 2, this is more likely. I'm not sure about the settings that the other YouTuber had on their Mi 10i. We've clearly shown what settings were enabled or disabled. We also showed you another round with different settings. In some of my speed tests, some people have commented that if you enable and go to developer settings and disable MIUI optimization, the apps will not die. Well, if you have the device, if it works for you, good for you. But the question is, why should we do it in a speed test? Like I said, most of us stick to the default settings, and that's what most people want to know while watching these videos, right? But I'm not asking you to not say it. You can definitely say it on MIUI forums. Bring this to their attention so they will fix it via a software update, and even in future they will have MIUI optimization off by default. I'm still not sure whether turning it off will improve RAM management, but still. Xiaomi as well as other brands have done it before, fixing this RAM management through a software update, so it is possible. So let's now move on to the internet speed test. Pressing go at the exact same time, the Mi 10i is significantly faster here, almost twice as fast, and upload speeds are even better. Let's now do the test one after the other. The Mi 10i still leads by a huge margin, it's twice as fast. Next up, we'll do a video render test. I'm using Adobe Premiere Clip to get it done, but since this app has been discontinued, I will do another render test with another video editor called Viva Video. For now, we opened the exact same project on both phones and we are going to render the videos in 1080p resolution. This is the major test for the chips underneath. Snapdragon 750G on the Mi 10i and 730G on the M51. On paper, the 750G is much better, but looks like the M51 is doing a much better job here. It has taken about 67 seconds to finish rendering, whereas the Mi 10i seems to be taking much longer. Anyway, like I said, we'll do another test with Viva Video Editor. As you can see, we are using the exact same clip on both phones. It's 1 minute and 24 seconds long. Let's set the speed to 0.3x. Look at my fingers shivering. My memory card almost ran out of storage, so I need to get this done quickly. We are rendering the video at 480p resolution. And the results are pretty much the same as what we saw on Premiere Clip. The Mi 10i is taking almost twice as long. Let's also do a fingerprint scanner speed test. Both the phones use side-mounted embedded fingerprint scanners. You just have to place your finger on the power button to unlock the phone. The M51 is actually only slightly faster. Let me pause the video so you can see it. The M51 shows the home screen already, but the Mi 10i just shows the wallpaper. Not a big deal, but the major difference here is the animation speed on the Mi 10i. It takes a bit of time to actually display all the icons. So once again, the M51 wins. We are almost done with the video. Let's quickly reboot the phones. Fast forwarding again. Well, this time it's a tie. But overall, you know which phone performed better, like far better. One more thing I noticed in the app opening round is the M51 also responds to your touch faster. Like, look carefully here. We are tapping on the icons at the same time, but on the Mi 10i, there's a slight delay before it actually opens the app window. So, except for the internet or Wi-Fi speed test, the M51 literally won every single round. This is pretty much a whitewash. And that's despite the fact that the M51 has slower storage, UFS 2.1, and an inferior chip, the Snapdragon 730G. That's commendable, really. Actually, one more major feature, the Mi 10i has 5G support, so a year or two from now when 5G arrives in India, if 5G arrives in India, the Mi 10i will have faster data transmissions. So that's it. Let me know in the comments section if you want a camera comparison between these two. We'll try to get it done. And more importantly, subscribe to Technology Jock and hit the bell icon for more awesome content. And don't forget to check out our sponsor, link in the description. That's it. Thanks for watching. This is Ashwin Sundar and I'll see you in the next video. Bye and take care.